Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies, the Preps edition. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you from the Wendy's Big Show on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Down there looking all of his numbers, he's Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. And some guy showed up with a tie on. We don't wear ties on this show, Coach. I don't know what this is. Is this a St. Cat's thing?
That is. I didn't notice that.
Is that what this is?
I got to go to work. That's impressive.
Yeah, Sean Brady, coach of St. Cat's girls basketball team, joins us here. First things first, we talk about girls basketball. Okay. We know the boys are competitive and want it and so forth. From the girls' side, how competitive does it get on the girls' side?
Past years, I was just speaking with someone earlier. It seems like it's been a little more competitive. This year, I think the girls' game has been a little bit down. I know we're a little down. They compete. Every team, I think, competes pretty hard. But, yeah, watching scores and seeing what teams are doing, there's just not the consistency of the top teams that there has been.
Sure.
Other than Prairie. I mean, Prairie's been pretty dominant, and I anticipate they will continue to be dominant.
What about from the aspect of how they take losses versus maybe on the boys' side?
Yeah, I think there's a little more, I've coached girls and boys. I think there's a little more cheering, and uplifting you have to do after a loss with girls. I think they take it a little harder. I think boys take it hard immediately and then kind of wash it off.
Sure.
And move on. Girls kind of carry it over, especially conference games where they know players, people they've played against, through the years growing up. And, they want to beat them. They want to play hard. And, when it doesn't bounce your way and it doesn't go your way, they get a little down. So.
Is it harder to control within a game the emotions of a girls' team versus the emotions of a boys' team? Because sometimes, you get too hyped up for a game, whatever the case may be. You might be playing outside of yourself a little bit, a couple early turnovers because you're so jacked up for a game, or if things start going the other way, boys' teams tend to unravel a little bit and get down on themselves.
Sure. I think with my team right now, this year's team, it's actually been trying to drag emotion out. I almost wish we would start reeling it at times, and it's been interesting group of girls. There's been a couple that have played really, really hard, and they all have at times. But then we kind of go, in and out of emotionless phases is the only way I can really describe it. And we kind of knew it. We've lost a lot the past 2 years. We've lost 4 college players, basically. I mean, 90% of our offense and rebounding has been gone in the past 2 years. So we knew this year would be rebuilding.
Sure.
And I think it's been hard, adjustment for the girls. They don't have that leader that gets them amped up, and they don't, so people are trying to figure that out.
So I'm going to say something here before Gery gets into the numbers and your players and all that, because eventually that's going to happen. But as a man, I think we all agree.
Wow, he says it again.
I think we would all agree none of us understand women, so that's impossible.
Absolutely.
But having said that, though, but now you have to coach them, and part of a coach is the psychological aspect of it. Not only are you having to deal with women, but young, emotional women that are in high school. God knows I remember what that's all about. Yeah. So how much more difficult is that when you're talking about trying to find that emotion and trying to find what makes them tick?
Yeah. Well, you see this receding hairline and all this gray. That is 90% them and 10% my kids. So, no, they're great kids. They all do try very, very hard. But you do have to be creative, and you do have to go into it. And with girls, I've done this 18 years, and one negative is going to take you 10 positives to get them back.
Really?
So you've got to really watch what you say, how you act. The way you present things.
So it's easier to lose them than maybe a boy that'll just shake it off and come back.
Yes. When I coach boys, and that's why I went to the girls. I coached girls in college. I was a student assistant at the University of North Carolina. That's how I got into women's games. But when I did guys, I didn't like it as much because they had the egos. It was almost too much of shaking off that stuff. Girls generally listen to you, but yes, you have the emotional side and the side of really having to be creative and try to motivate them, the best you possibly can.
Time out. You were at North Carolina?
I was. I'm an alumni of University of North Carolina.
You're in Racine, Wisconsin.
That's true.
It's cold here. We have snow and so forth.
It gets worse. I actually moved after North Carolina down to Florida and coached down there 18 years and then came up here. So it gets worse. My ex-wife remarried and my kids were moving up here, and I
So you came with?
Didn't want to be away from my kids.
Is North Carolina as cool as everybody says it
It
is?
is the best. If I can, when my kids move on to college, I'm moving back there.
Really? Yeah. So it is that nice?
It's
never been. I've always heard good stories.
Yeah, great seasons, great basketball.
Is it all about college basketball more than football down there?
College football is pretty big. It's just not good. I mean, it's just not that good.
It's not at that level.
But people, when it's the college season, they support the teams. They're out. But yeah, when basketball hits, it's a hotbed. It's what everybody wants.
Good stuff.
So at North Carolina, did you worship the ground that Dean Smith walked on?
I did. I was fortunate enough. I caught him at the end of his career. I worked with Sylvia Hatchell and their staff because I wanted to apply for a job with Coach Smith, and it was a 4-year waiting period. Well,
a 4-year waiting period.
You'd have to be a graduate student to get into the program. So they suggested I go to the girls. I did that and was fortunate. I was there for 3 ACC championships and a national championship. So learned a lot. It was awesome. It was a great experience.
He is. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but I talked to him one time on the phone when this was years ago. George Kyle was named the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, and he played for Dean Smith.
Sure.
So I called out to get a hold of Dean Smith. Couldn't get a hold of him. He called me back 2 days later, and I picked up the phone. I said hello, and he goes, "This is Dean Smith. I'm the coach at the University of North Carolina."
Really? People don't know. That's
never heard you. I mean, what a humble and modest man he is.
He would act surprised if you'd walk up to him and say, "Coach Smith," shake his hand. He'd be like, "You know who I am." That's truly how he was. So.
Talk about the maturation process and the difference between a college female basketball player and then high school female basketball player, because I've got friends that have had daughters that have gone on to play college basketball, and I think there's a little bit of initial shock factor that first year of college basketball, going from your nice little high school team in Wisconsin to wherever you go across the country.
Very much. Olivia Brown is actually going through it now. She's at Toledo.
Yeah.
And it's, they go through, they're the big fish. Now they go to be a freshman, and they're the small fish in a big pool. So that's one shock to them. Two, it's just so intense. The intensity. You can try to be as tense as you want in high school. You're never going to have 10 players that are there because they were the best player on their team. So you're not going to have that group of real basketball players all the time. So you're never going to have that kind of intensity at your practice. So they walk into that world, and everything. They go lifting. They get their whole schedule is classes in basketball. It's a business. Yeah, it's a business. I mean, they're owned. They're owned. They got to work camps in the summer. Their summer is gone. Their Christmas breaks are 3 days instead of 2 weeks.
That's the way I've ever heard anybody put it. Their own, because that's legitimately it.
Yeah, there.
These girls are probably thinking, "Well, I get to go home for summer, relax a little bit," but not really. Come up for a couple weeks, maybe, and you're right back to campus again.
No, they own them. I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, they're paying $200,000 a year for their education or whatever it may be. I don't know what the school's tuitions are, but legitimately owned, and that's their job. I mean, you're not a student; it's your job.
Well, then for you, I mean, you have a benefit over some of these other coaches because you coach at the college level to a certain degree, so you can probably prep them a little bit more for what they're about to encounter before they leave St. Cat's.
More so talking to them.
Yeah.
I can't simulate it.
Well, no.
Right. You can't with a group of girls. You just can't do that. But yeah, I try to talk to them a lot before they go and let them know, look, this is. But it's still
because the will to quit has to be there that first year.
It's hard because you get the homesickness that all students get.
Right.
And then you get you got to stay intense and you got to stay up, 90% of the time. So it is hard on them. It's very hard.
When you have this team that you have now at St. Cat's, or do a majority of these girls, some of these girls, are they looking at wanting to play basketball after high school, college basketball? Is that the will of all of them, or are some of them just doing it for now and know that once this is done, we're done?
This year's team is more soccer players, volleyball players. That's their main sport. They play basketball because they like it and they're athletic. I have one or two. Kennedy Wiles, she'll probably look to try to maybe play.
Okay.
Sid Smith, maybe. She's more of a basketball player than anything else. The others, though, really focus on soccer and volleyball. So, yeah, I could see them possibly trying it in soccer or volleyball. I don't know that they're going to want to in basketball. So,
Is there a huge difference for you as a coach when you have those
yes.
cross sport type players?
I love multi-sport athletes because I think they're probably the best athletes because they can do multiple things, and obviously they're good at each of them. It's much harder to coach a team that doesn't play the sport year round than it is girls that just come in for your 4-month season and then move on to good kids. They work hard, but you're just not at the same skill level. The girls that are working year round are not only picking up the fundamentals of the game, but they're also picking up really the knowledge in a basketball IQ because they're playing. There's more court time. There's more touches on the ball. So you got to teach a lot of that. So you get stuck a little bit. I feel this team is going to start picking it up because this is usually where we start hitting our stride. We started out all right. We're 7-2, so I can't complain too much. But the 2 losses were losses I thought we should have won. That's where it gets frustrating. So.
Gary has all the numbers and all the stats and all the plays. He's over there taking it down.
This Mo-Fest was going on for 20 minutes. I'm just listening here.
I can sit here and talk to coach all day. What's up?
I could have watched the video at home. That's okay. No. I felt slighted here, But no, you talked a little bit about Olivia Brown at Toledo, and I think she's played in almost every game coming off the bench, correct?
She went through a span, 3 or 4 she didn't play in, and she had an ankle injury.
Oh, okay.
And coming off of the ankle injury, took her a little bit longer to rehab and get back, but now she's back getting minutes. Yeah.
And then another girl you had was Cindy Tapley. Now, can you give us an update on her?
She's dominating.
Is she?
She is. She still comes off the bench as a sophomore, but she is a double-double again.
No kidding.
Yeah, just absolutely dominating.
And she's at where again? I'm trying to remember.
Sorry, it's the...
Southeast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know too.
It's in Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts. Okay. American University.
Okay.
Or International University.
Right.
Yeah, right. American International University. And she's just absolutely, it's Division II, but she's just, really blossomed over there and playing very well for them.
Well, I mean, you lose 2 good players like that, your program's going to take a hit.
It is, and then we lost Allison Oley, too, who could have played college basketball, went on to play college volleyball, and also Lindsay LeCount, who was offered a couple smaller college positions, too, but decided just not to play.
Okay. Speaking of LeCount, you got LeCount on your team this year.
Yep.
She's a sophomore, and not too many sophomores start, freshmen and sophomores at the high school level. How's she progressing?
She's good. She's going through something right now, a little confidence issue. We're trying to pump her up, but she's got a great basketball IQ, like her sister. She just understands the game, and to me, probably has the best understanding of the game on the floor. I just got to get her. She's so unselfish. I got to get her shooting more and scoring more for us. But
is it easier when you have a family member that comes after another family member because they know what coach is all about before she walks in?
It's fun. I wish they could have played a year together because they're close as sisters.
Oh, really?
It would have been fun. But yeah, I think it is because Ellie knows me. I've grown up with the family, and she's grown up with me a little bit, and I think it's easy. It's a lot easier.
And her father used to work at the Journal-Times.
He did. He brings that up to me all the time.
So, hey, the stat, though, that really stood up? If you go to wizsports.net, great website for high school basketball, but I was looking at your stats, and speaking of LeCount, she has made 85% of her free throws. I mean, that's crazy. 17 to 20. Not many high school girls shoot at that percentage rate.
No.
Not many college players shoot at that percentage rate.
That's what is frustrating to me about her right now, and I'm trying to really, and she's been this way. Every team she's been on, she's been the role player. She's kind of, just been the person that passed, and I need her to be a scorer because she has that ability.
Oh, okay.
And when she can shoot 85%,
that's crazy.
You need her to get to the rim and get to the line, and she defers a lot of times, and she's smart. I mean, they're the right passes. I'm not saying they're wrong, but we need her to get involved a little bit more.
Now, Sabrina Stulo has been pretty much your go-to player this year from an offense standpoint.
Yes. Yeah.
She's really improved, hasn't she? I mean, her progression over the years.
She's improved a lot, yes. She started, our sophomore year, she made varsity. She was just a spot-up shooter. That's really all she could do. And last year, developed a little bit more of a drive to the basket, still not great. And this year, we had to work on because we knew she would be really covered hard, coming off screens and shooting off screens. And she's done a pretty good job of learning that as well. So defense has gotten better, still needs to improve a little bit, but yeah. Overall, pretty she has improved quite a bit.
When you're at the girls level, and you talk about how good Prairie is, God knows I hear it from him every time we do these videos. Why? Yeah, he's always talking about how good Prairie is. I understand that.
Oh,
but
man.
when you're at this level, because at most levels it's more talent's going to win more times than not. But at different levels, sometimes the coaching plays a more vital role at different levels of basketball. Where is it at for girls basketball?
I think our level, I really think it's any level. If you have a really good coach and you have average talent, you can win.
Yep.
If you have below average talent, even if you have a great coach, you're not going to win. You know, and if you have tremendous talent, an average coach, you can win with that too. And Prairie has a little bit of both. I mean, Melody's a very good coach, and she's got probably the best player in the state.
Yep.
And then very good surrounding players around her. So, you know, it's not just one and average. They're all pretty good players. You know,
And those players have to understand who the best player on the team is.
I would
too.
hope so. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you can't have Eagles involved. I want to get my shots too. And
I would hope not. And if so, you'd have to really control that as a coach. I mean, it's something you have to. Everyone can recognize. You walk in the gym, you just know the kid is different.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, no question.
Tell us a little bit about Kennedy Wilds, Annie Bukaklian, Sydney Smith. They're all starters for you as well, right?
Yeah.
Just a quick synopsis
Sure.
on each one of them.
I'll start with Annie. Ani. It's Ani actually.
Ani,
Ani
yes.
Buchaklin.
Right.
And she is a senior.
Right. Go on.
And,
Just ignore him.
We're getting
Sorry.
a bulletin in here.
She's a senior, and she has been absolutely. If I had to pick an MVP right now, she would be my MVP. She
Really?
is.
We got this update from the Racine Police Department. If Coach has a red car,
No, not
the
mine.
city wants it moved immediately.
No, I can-
Come on, don't they know we're doing sports junkies? Come on,
I can read. I read the signs. I didn't park.
this is ridiculous.
No, Ani is. She's been a little spark to us. She's just a defensive little gnat. I mean, she gets after it. I wish everyone would pick their intensity up to the way she plays, and really boosted her scoring. She's not had too many offensive skills until this year, and really worked on it. Actually asked for keys to the gym last night so her and her dad could shoot. And so she's putting in that extra time. She's really gotten into it. So she's really been a spark and just gives me everything she's got. And really that's all I ask. You got, your kids are only so talented.
Yep.
All I ask is you give me everything you got. And we'll make do with, the rest will fall into place. So she's really done that. And I'm hoping kids will start following suit and playing tough.
As a coach, obviously, I don't go to a lot of women's basketball games. So if this is a stupid question, just let me know.
But he'll
But
go
as-
to Admirals game.
Well, no, because there are some coaches like Bo Ryan for the Badgers. He's running the swing offense. He's never going to play zone. I don't care what the situation is.
Right,
I'm
right.
stubborn. I'm Bo. This is how I'm going to do it.
Right.
Fine, and he's been successful doing it. For you as a coach, because he gets to recruit the players he wants to fit his
Absolutely.
system, you don't get that luxury.
No.
So have you had to move and change your offenses and defenses from year to year?
Yes, it's that's a great question. College, you're right. You recruit what
Yep.
fits your system. For high school, my system is the Carolina way. I mean, I'm from there.
You run a four corners?
No, I like to press and run. It's,
There you go.
it's not the old
Yeah.
Carolina way. It's more the new
The
Carolina.
Roy Williams, Carolina.
I have not been able to do that up here.
Right.
We just don't have the right mix of girls for that. We're more of a half-court team and try to set good screens and come off screens and score that way. Defensively, we haven't found ourselves this year. I'm going to be honest with you. In the past, we could go from zone to man. We could press a little. This year, just haven't found ourselves.
Sure.
We're still figuring out what we got to do. I'm a coach that likes to coach like a college coach and scout and kind of tailor our defense to what they do. So sometimes we're man, sometimes we're zone. But with this team, again, we're really trying to figure it out. I think we're just going to go straight man the rest of the year and really try to do our
What
best
is
for
this?
that.
The other thing
We
too.
got a Boeing 747 outside our window.
The other thing, too, I want to ask is kind of like if you go to North Carolina and Dean Smith is running the basketball program, everybody else just kind of falls in under
Yeah.
the shadow a little bit. You get to Case, and Bob Letch is sitting there. I kind of imagine it's kind of the same thing where he's kind of up here and then everybody else kind of falls in under. How is that working relationship?
Very good. Bob and I have a really good relationship. It was tough my first year there.
Yeah.
They were coming off years of never winning. And I came from a school in Florida where my team was always winning and had 9 Division I players that I graduated. So I went from that level to a step down and thought I was going to come in and turn this whole thing around, and I've turned around, a little bit. But that first year with Bob, he's a great guy with a good heart, but he probably scared me one or two times. I didn't know what to do. He came in yelling. I'm like, I didn't know. Just tell me what I have to do. But no, he's a great guy. We have a great working relationship. He's helped me out a lot. He listens to me a little bit when I want to complain a little bit to him. Trying to figure out this defensive thing. He and I are going to talk. I talked to him the other night and said, look, you've seen us. Where do we need to go? And I've done this 18 years, but I'm not a coach that will ever say, I know everything. I don't need advice.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that's won 15 state championships, some ridiculous number like that. Why would I not pick his brain?
Yeah.
And I try to as much as I possibly can. He comes off gruff, but he's a teddy bear.
He really is.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a big NBA fan, big Bucks fan.
Hey, one quick question.
Huge Bucks fan. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Loves
said
that game.
Loves the NBA.
Yeah, he and Sparky are going to go to a game sometime. They'll go to the game for about 2 minutes and leave, But anyways, looking at the conference, that's a heck of a conference you're in. I mean, Prairie is obviously the kingpin, but considering the people that you lost and how it's kind of you're tweaking this year's team, you got to be really happy with what you've done.
I am. We dropped 2 conference games. That's frustrating. St. Joe's very good. Brought in some really nice pieces. Starting to play better than they did at the beginning of the year. We lost them by 10 the other night. I don't think we're 10 points worse. Now, they do have some more talented pieces in positions. Size-wise, they're bigger than us. But my girls just, if we dig in and play like we could play, should have given them a much better game. And then the Dominican game was just unexcusable. That no one really showed up except for Sabrina. Girl scored 42 on us. That's just
I saw that.
I mean, you can't.
She's not your typical girl, though.
No, she's very good, and she's gotten much better than she was last year. She's gotten stronger. She seemed like she grew even a couple inches. I don't know, but
How does she compare to Ortiz?
very good. But Ortiz is a different level.
Really? You think
Yeah,
she's that much better, huh?
She is. This girl's very good. I'm not taking. This girl will be a Division I player, but right now she's all right-handed. She's got to work on that left. She's got range. She can do a lot. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from that kid because she's fantastic. But the girl from DSHA and Gabby are just, they're just a little bit stronger.
Right.
She scored 42
Yeah.
in a girls' game?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Against
in a
a
basket,
good team,
that's
again.
tough, but women's scores in general in high school aren't that high to begin with.
Well, the rest of the team only scored like.
Our producer's saying 2-2 that we're rolling 8.
Something like that.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
She went to the line 20 times, so I don't know. I mean, I could score 20 if I went to the line 20 times too.
Did you work on defense the next day?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was tough because some of the calls, I would say, were a little shaky. And then the girls got timid, like, well, we can't go up to her because we're going to get the call called. And then she was kind of doing what she wanted. And
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, that's our weekness right now is defense.
Yeah.
We usually go about 15 minutes, and this Greg is about 23, 24 already.
That doesn't
So
matter.
it just
Sorry.
no, it's very interesting. It was a good wrap here.
Good deal. Thanks for coming in, Coach.
Thank you.
And by far, the only one to ever wear a tie on this video.
Is that right? I'm sorry.
He is.
Yeah, go to work.
The coach at Racine St. Cat's girls basketball team. We'll see what they come up on the defensive side of the ball. What will they come up with? Should be fun to see. Continue to follow them for the rest of the year. Thanks for watching another edition of Sports Junkies, the Preps edition, here at RacineSportsZone.com.